I don't even care about distractions in my videos anymore. I don't even care. I just gotta get the message out at this point. Good evening, YouTube. Good evening to my small audience. I gotta put these messages out. Okay, I'm at a point where everything is. There has been so much disruption, sorry, to my lives that I realize that the benefit, the benefits of the lives and the content of what I'm seeing far outweighs the live being done in like a way that I would want it to be done. So like normal me would want this to be so professional and this and that. And I remember when I was listening to my lives, when I was listening to other people, I'm listening for the content and they're freaking out because something's happening and I'm like, I could care less. Hurry up, come back. I want to hear the rest of the video. Um, because it's just more important for me to just hear what's going on. So I hope and pray that the content of what I am giving um, far outweighs, um, you know, the little, the cat going crazy and the volume is no good and the sound is this and something else is that. I just hope that everything it out, you know, the benefit outweighs some of the distractions that I kind of bother me. So tonight, I would like to talk about perseverance in this here thing. I'm talking to victims of gangstalking. This is what I have gone through. And I want to tell you, no matter what it looks like, gangstalking is a spiritual journey. I know in the beginning, you're going to think gangstalking is about being followed. That is totally normal to think. However, gangstalking is about everything but being followed. Being followed around, it it adds a layer to the persecution, but this is way deeper. This is, you know, as you know, there's many sides to this. There's a reason that we do not have real targets telling what is really going on in order to, it's always people who everybody's trying to, you know, the people who do this are trying to make these people look insane. They're trying to make everyone look like they don't know what they're talking about. They're making it up. And a lot of times they definitely do drive people insane, like legit insane. They drive people legit insane. Um, People are not able to come here and truly tell their story. And when they do tell their story, the story is so far-fetched. It is so far-fetched that, or it sounds far-fetched. It's the truth, but it sounds so far-fetched that even if they're not crazy, you're gonna think that they're crazy, even if they're not. So let me first read the verse that I want to read, or the chapter that I want to read today. And the chapter is John chapter 15. It says, I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And every branch that beareth fruit, he purgeth it, that it may bring forth more fruit. Now ye are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye expect ye abide, except ye abide in me. Let me read that again. Abide in me. Abide means to live, to stay, to be. Abide in me, and I in you. As the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide on the vine. The branch cannot bear fruit unless the fruit is on the vine. No more can you bear any fruit except you abide in me. I'm talking directly to targets, earth angels, those of us ascending. This is a direct message from God, and it's true, and I've always known it. God is basically saying, I am the vine, you are the fruit. I am the true vine, and my Father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. And this is actually Jesus reading this. So Jesus is saying that he's the true vine, and his Father is the person that tends to the vineyard. Every vine in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. God takes every branch that is not serving you, that is useless. That's what happens when God starts living in you. All of these bad habits, all of these things you used to do, all of these behaviors you have that didn't make sense, God comes in and God fixes all of these things. And everything that you have that is productive, it could be your gifts, it could be your intelligence, it could be your talents. Those are the things that God wants to cultivate in you. So God wants to make these things stronger and take away the things that are not for you. Now that you are clean through the word which I have spoken unto you. And that happens to all of us as we continue to take instruction, follow instructions. We change. We change on the inside. We change so much that maybe people who used to know us don't know us anymore. I know for me, people who used to know me are probably, if they had to see or hear me right now, I'm a totally different person. So I know that has to happen to you if you survive gangstalking. Abide in me and I in you. The same way God lives in your heart, you live in God's heart. That's why we feel each other so strong. If you are not in God's favor, it feels so uncomfortable that you have to get back in alignment. You got to do whatever it is that you have to do to get back feeling good, because God doesn't feel good about what you're doing. And if you don't feel good, God is scrambling to rectify the situation for you, because God does not enjoy that feeling. Abide in me and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine. No more can ye, except ye abide in me. And God is basically saying, you cannot be productive, bear fruit, be successful, be prosperous in the world anymore. In your north node, in your ascension, from here on out, you cannot do things by yourself anymore. You're going to be blocked. It's not God blocking you. As you can see the fight on your life, it's not God blocking you. God is saying, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself, except it abide in the vine, no more can ye, except ye abide in me. And we know that. We trust on God like babies for everything. Your request to God, when people think about being with spirit, people think, well, they think it's a genie. They called God a genie before. It's those kind of things that really, like, they shake me. But anyway, people think it's like a genie, and they think you're stupid because they say, well, you have all of this access. How comes you're not rich? How comes you're not this? Because they're saying to themselves, if I had that ability, I would do this and I would do that. This is not how these relationships work. You don't, it's like, it's kind of like people who deserve things the most. If you look at, I'm going to speak for myself, well, I'm going to speak in general. Let's look at an example, and not everybody's like this. Some people do not care. But if let's say a man has a lot of money and he's looking for someone to marry, someone with common sense, someone who is not just looking for, I don't know people's motivations when they knowingly marry people that just want to use them. But if you want something real, you're more than likely going to choose someone who doesn't really care about that stuff in general. The person that is always asking, always needing, and it's not to say there's anything wrong with asking, but the person who doesn't care, people who usually don't care about things are usually people who get them, because they're less likely to abuse. They're less likely to abuse. There are some people you cannot give them spiritual gifts. They will abuse it. They will take it too far. The people who get these things, more likely to get these things, are people who, I go in the spirit and I ask God for really silly things sometimes that I can resolve myself. I'm just lazy. Honestly, I'm like, I'd rather take my energy and like focus on one thing than to have to constantly deal with all kinds of little distractions and nonsense all the time. Or I spend the bulk of my time just being like, just thanking God for a bunch of stuff. And sometimes I forget to ask, and that's one of my things I have to remember, like, oh, you should ask, because once you ask, it happens really fast. But there's some, it's those of us who have that connection, we have to understand that the skills that you're given, the gifts that you're given because you need to have these gifts in order to move forward, because you're going to be put in situations where if you didn't have that gift, you would stumble and you would fail your mission, not because your heart's not earnest, but because you need it. When God gives people gifts, even these dark practitioners, these witches that have gifts, when God gave those gifts were given to be in service. They're not given for the nonsense that they're doing right now. This is meaningless work to try to project in people's house, abuse people, and do all of these things. Like, this is nonsense. These gifts were given for a higher purpose, and imagine what you could have accomplished for God had you put this in proper use. The kind of monumental things people could have accomplished for God on God's behalf. And Spirit rewards equally. Spirit rewards us equally. And sometimes you have to also, like, for me, sometimes I think about not asking too much, because I know that when you ask things of Spirit, it's not just putting, like, giving some prayers and some food on an altar. It's equal. It must be equal in value. You go ahead and ask Spirit for $1 million. What do you have that you can exchange for $1 million? It's not the prayer. It's not the food on the altar. You need $1 million worth of work. Do you know what $1 million worth of work looks like? That's what people must remember. When you put these petitions to any spirit, light spirit, dark spirit, purple spirit, gray spirit, demon, angel, whatever you want to call it, you ask a spirit for these kind of things, they want something of equal value. You ask them for life-changing things, they want life-changing things from you. So we got to remember that it is a fact at this time that we cannot move forward without our spirit guides, without our gods. We cannot make any moves in life without them. So we have to walk in tandem, in step. Step by step means like hooking elbows, and when they take a step forward, you take a step forward. When they stop, you stop. When they look left, you look left. Step by step, because it's very touchy. It's a very touchy time. So when it says that you cannot bear fruit without me, like, this is literal. You're not just gonna stagnate if you don't have Spirit. You're gonna perish. I am the vine, you are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me ye can do nothing. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch, and is withered, and men gather them, and cast them into the fire, and they are burned, like they're trying to do to us now. Like they are trying to do to us now. If you abide in me, and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. If you abide in God, and God lives in here, and you take God seriously with respect, whatever you ask, it is yours. And the likelihood is, if you're abiding in God, you're probably not going to ask for silly things, and you're probably not going to ask for frivolous things, and God's probably going to have to push things on you and say, hey, you deserve this and you deserve that. That's how it actually works for most of us. But isn't that a comfort? For God to say, if a man If you abide in me and my words abide in you, you shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. Herein is my Father glorified, that ye bear much fruit. It basically means God wants you to be successful, because as you being successful as someone who represents God, God is glorified in that. There's this misconception that God wants God's people to be like God's people suffer and they don't have much and they're broke and this and that. No, God wants God's people to be rich. That attracts people. That is attractive to other people. Like, look at how well God's people are living. It's not to say we don't have tough periods. It's not to say we don't have tough times. It's just to say that in your bearing of much fruit, God gets glory. And I literally just said this tonight. How are we in service of God? Because when we do great things, it is proof of God. It doesn't always have to do with money. It can be with overcoming. It could be with standing on your feet. It is proof of God. And I'm going to put a pin in that. There's this one girl, I talk about her, Katroya J. They took her kids, they put her in jail. And then she's back to reading her tarot cards. She's back to giving her messages. And like just from yesterday, I've just been like going over this in my head like, man, they did all of that just so that girl could get right back on her platform and do exactly what it is that she was doing anyway. They did all of that to knock her off a platform, to stop her from talking, and she came right back on the platform and did it anyway. And I thought to myself, I don't even know if I could do it as gracefully as her. I don't know if, I've never been in that situation. I don't know if I could just come back. Like, I mean, that girl could have lashed out. That girl could have done so much. And she did. She did. She had her little moments. I don't call it lashing out. She was justifiably upset. But she didn't cry. She didn't, like, you know, rip her clothes off and any, like, she was upset. And in my heart I was like, you know what? I know that there have been so many times I've been on here and I've been so angry because of the things I've been going through. And I was like, it's not like me where I'm hard on myself. Like, why would you do that? Why would you, like, be so upset on camera? And, you know, that's not elegant and that's not how you are and all that. But I'm like, I forgive her in an instant, because losing kids or having kids taken away in front of the world is not easy. I forgive her. And, you know, I'm learning to forgive myself, because what I've been through has been like, if I had to write a book, I don't even know how I would put all of that in a book. But anyway, we are suffering for God, I'll tell you that much. But I can say, when I look at people like her, that girl's gonna win a lawsuit. I don't care what anybody says. They bulldoze that girl's door. It's done. This is what I mean. And I'm gonna finish this chapter. I'm gonna finish this, because this is God that's speaking here. You will be in your fight and you're suffering and you're thinking, God, how much longer? You know how many times I ask God that? How much longer? It's not the suffering so much. It's not being beat down. It's the self-control and the patience. That is what, you know, I don't know for anybody else, that's what gives me a run for my money. It is so easy to lash out, and you have to not lash out. You have to hold yourself. This thing that other people do to you, every time they get upset, they come in your home, they fight you all night, they do all of these things, they try to piss you off, they try to get you off track. It is so easy to do that. And God says, no, you can't do that. You can't continue to freak out. You got to get it under control. You have to do all of this. This is the part that makes it hard, is fighting against yourself, pushing against yourself, that self-control. So you're like, God, how much longer? I swear to God, I'm going to explode. How much longer? It has been difficult. And I swear, when I look at this girl's situation, the time they bulldozed her door, I said, her battle's done. She won. She won. It's done. So when God comes in your situation and God says, you can celebrate now, it's done. In your mind, you're like, how can I be done? 6 months later, 9 months later, a year later, you're like, you guys said a year ago this thing was done. No, the battle was won a year ago. The lawsuit was won a year ago. Now you got to stay in here for us to get there. That's what this message tonight is about, the perseverance. They already bulldozed your door. They already did what they needed to do. We have the evidence. We got what we need. We just need you to stay here so we could get to court. We need you to stay in court for however long we got to stay in court so we can win the case. There's some people who have had monumental things happen to them. They need to stay in court. Court might be 10 years. There's some people fighting a court case 4 years, 6 years, 10 years. It's easy to say you're going to take people to court. Staying in the court case, a different story. Fighting a court case 10 years, you wanted to sue someone and now they're tying you up in court now. It's draining the money out of your pocket. That is a different case. God's saying, we have what we need. It needs to play out. You need to go through the channels. We need to go up, down, and around. Court is one example. But that girl, when she spoke and she said, no, I want this much in a settlement, God said, your wish is my command. But we don't know how this is going to happen. So they bulldozed her door. They did it while she was on live. People are like, come off of the live and go deal with it. And she stayed on that live that whole time. That is an ancestor holding your hand with the camera. Ancestors takes your hand and go show us in the window. That big military truck that came to your house, to go show it in the window. How many people watched that video? I don't know how many views are on that video. That video's all over. Oh, you better believe she has that. Come on. Come on. That's what it means to stand in place. Just stand in place. She didn't have to do anything. She didn't make them do that. She just has to stand in place and let the abuse occur. And meantime, people are feeling nice. Oh, we abused you. We humiliated you. It's on live. Half of the views, most of the views came from gangstalkers, I'm sure, showing their friends how successful it is that they can abuse people, they can get the police involved. Lovely. But when they say you have a spiritual inheritance, that is what they're talking about. It's guaranteed. It's done. Success is guaranteed. You're just here to wait. You're waiting your time out to get your cash out of the machine. I'm saying cash, it could be anything. It could be love, it could be a business, it could be friendship, it could be restoration of something you lost, whatever it is. When you speak it confidently. God will move a mountain. Stop thinking that spirit. I have nothing against the Christians. I just use them as an example. This is not a Christian God. Nothing against the Christians. I read the Bible. I watch sermons almost every day. Actually, every day. Every single day. Almost all day. I have nothing wrong with Christianity. Please take me the right way. I'm not a Christian, no. Take me the right way. This is not Christianity. This is not where we're waiting a million years for God to move. No, this is an active God, a real God, a God that will come and comfort you, come and talk to you. Answer the prayer today. You pray today, you get an answer today. You pray now, you get the results now. They don't play. This is a God that made preparation for your journey years ago. And this is not like where you are a witch that goes to look for entities somewhere. This is different. This is a calling over your life. When you have a calling over your life, you don't even know where you're going. It's so much to ask, well, can I have this and can I have that? They're going to tell you what you're going to have. You are going to live this kind of life. This is who you're going to be. And you're like, really? Yeah, you wouldn't even have asked for that much. Myself personally, I'm like, God, whatever level we get to, we'll build back up incrementally. It's fine. Because we've done that together so many times. I'm fine with it. That's why I don't care. I don't care. Like, whatever this whole, we're going to abuse you, take money from you, whatever. People who really care about this money stuff, they're going to look at it like an abuse. This is a spiritual love affair. This is totally different. This is devotion. This is service. And this is something that we have come back doing over and over and over, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, even though you might be in the beginning of your journey and you might not believe that that's true. It will come to you slowly but surely. You will realize, you will know, you'll feel it. Little things will happen. There will be signs. So you don't know when you've gotten to that point yet that God has already guaranteed your success. It's usually around the worst abuse that could happen to you, the most vile thing that they could have done. That is where the case got guaranteed. That is where your victory got guaranteed. And that is usually the moment that you're saying to yourself, I can't take any more of this. I do not want to move forward in this journey. I'm sick of it. I've had enough. Okay, you're done, but leave and go where? Where is better than here? Where is better than here? Where are you going to go? Let me tell you something. These people are in and out of my house like a train station. They have group meetings in my house. They're just coming one after the other after the other. My cat ran outside today, and I said, what are you coming in the hallway for? I'm like, it's no better out here. They're up and down the hallway. They're running up and down the hallway. I'm thinking to myself, my goodness. It's like military protection here, eh? That's how it is. You're inside. Inside has a problem. You go outside, you give up on God, and you go somewhere else. To where? Because where are you going to go without God? If it's hard here with God, it is impossible outside. Do you know what happens to victims of gang stalking? They are already homeless. They are toothless. You can tell by their teeth they're really been gang stalked. They are persecuted so bad. Those of them that still look decent live in the woods. They have to run out of society and isolate themselves in order. When I first came on YouTube, that was one of the things I saw. People feeding birds in the park and in the woods, talking about their gang stalking journey. This thing broke my heart so much. These are people who have some of the same symptoms that we do. They can't kill them because of the protection on their life. They can't sacrifice and kill them like they do other people, but they have them because of lack of advice, because of lack of knowledge, because of people like me were not yet in place to be able to tell them, or because they bullied people to think people like me are liars, people like me are witches, people like me are dark, people like me are all of these things. Don't listen to people like me. They're teaching you dark magic, blah, blah, blah. Because they didn't have because they had lack of knowledge, these people suffered and they missed their calling. I think God will put you back on your track if you can get back, but how can God even reach people? That's why people like me come here and like, they put a spiritual beating on you when you sit in this chair, trust me. Like, whether or not I show it, listen, nonsense, a lot of nonsense, to the point that when I made a decision to come back here properly, meaning that I got to talk about God and I got to give people messages and I'm done fighting, I had to threaten these people. I'll be honest about it, I don't care. I had to threaten these people, like, look, I'm not even playing. I had to say to God, I got to do this one my way just for now. Just this one time, I got to go. I gotta go do this. I'm gonna take some karma for this. Because it's like, look, none of the nonsense anymore. It's too much. That's how hard they fight you. This message, was it yesterday, that I gave about V2K? Because V2K is one of the biggest illusions that they've ever had. Oh my God, they were calling me a B word in my head. They were calling me all kinds of names. They did the most. They did everything. Like, they hated that message. They tried to come for me. I knew, I was like, boy, before I went to bed, I'm like, boy, these people are gonna come in here, 10 of them at a time, and like work on me tonight. I was like, I need to clean this place. I need to do something. Because they're coming through protection. They don't care anymore. They don't care. They're coming through protection. I want to explain something to you. When you're standing in place for God, what is happening? Why are they persecuting you so hard? I gotta finish this. I think that the Bible verse is gonna be the message tonight. Why are they persecuting you so hard? Because God's putting a beating on these people. A beat down, boy. If you saw what these people were going through, even you would feel bad. God warned me in the beginning, and God's like, Now, don't feel bad for them when you see their karma. God knows what kind of heart we have, even though we went through all of this. I'm like, oh, hell no, I'm not. I'm going to laugh. I'm not going to care. I'm going to joke about it. Sometimes I see it, I'm like, oh my goodness. You get scared, you get nervous, you get quiet, and you kind of pull back. Like, whoa, whoa. That's no easy set of conditions. These people, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong and is going wrong. You have one problem, like worrying about how are you going to pay your bill next month. That's one problem, but that's a big one. Well, they have that and more, and a lot more, and a lot more. The witches that have been stealing from people, stealing people's inheritances, are homeless. You want to know what homeless is? Homeless is walking the streets. You see how a woman has a purse? Walking with your suitcase. I don't want to laugh. And don't even care about the suitcase. Just leave the suitcase all on the side of the road everywhere and just walking off without the suitcase. You don't even care if they steal a suitcase. What's inside the suitcase anyway? Everything you own is inside that suitcase, because everything that you had belonged to somebody else. Blocking people's work, blocking people's minds from being able to think clearly, cursing people, taking away partnerships, relationships, marriages from people, taking everything they have, draining it from them. And today, God has to come and say, I'm the repo man. I need everything, including the suitcase. They're going to steal that suitcase, including the suitcase. You don't need no suitcase. And then they'll say somebody cursed them. And then they'll say it's you who cursed them. And you know what's going to happen? They're going to beat down on you, because every day that they have to suffer, every day that something doesn't go right, every day that something goes wrong, they're going to come back in your presence to come beat on you, because they're going to say you did it. Okay, what about the 20 years of you being a dirty witch? You ever thought that was going to come back? So when these people start attacking you, it is because God has said, an active, alive God, not a fake God, a real God has said, okay, you know what? You know how long I've been wanting to get to you. You know how long I've been sitting watching you. You know how many people you've taken from me. It's personal. When it's personal, let me tell you, you look at crimes, different crimes. There are some crimes and somebody says, I just want to get rid of this person. They come, they do it fast. They get rid of them on the street, you know, shoot them, get them out of the way. And then there's some crimes and they say, no, no, no. We want you. We're taking the kids. We're taking your wife. We're putting you somewhere. We're putting a camera on you that's going to live stream all day. Every day we come here, we're taking one body part off of you. We're not feeding you. We're letting you suffer. It's going to take not even 30 days. We're leaving you here 3 years. And we're going to abuse you for 3 years in this cave for 3 years. That's how we want it to go down. That's what we want. That's somebody who's been waiting on you. That's when it's personal. So when your situation is dragging out and you're saying, my God, it's taking a long time. Hey, they're victims. Their victims were abused for years. There's nothing quick about that. This needs to be a slow dance. This is why it feels like that. Because they cannot punch God directly. So they punch people God favors. When God favors you, people deem you God's favorite. They can see it, because it's almost like you see persecution, you see stress. You don't understand. Everybody else knows they could never get away with the things that you're getting away with. They could never be walking free like that. They could never have everything preserved for them in this condition. I'm telling you, this man said, how is this beast still alive? Because they know anybody else would have already, like, quickly. Forget even the spell word. We're talking about, look at the game we're talking about here. I'm telling you, God's favor is not a joke. It is not a game. It is not a joke. So being in these situations when we are here, trust me, you just don't see how lucky you are. It is challenging even with God. But just imagine for the people who did not have, first of all, the messengers. When you have messengers, listen, when I used to listen to my message for the day, at the end of my work day, It was a big deal. Like it was like watching a movie. I have to have my food. I have to have like everything I need. Like this is important. Not 1 hour. I can listen to five because it's giving me a real knowledge that I can use, that I can survive. People who didn't have messages, they didn't have remedies, cures. I didn't get cures, boy. I had to learn all of my cures myself. They didn't have cures. They didn't have people say, this is how you clear this is how you do that, this is what you do. I didn't have that. A lot of us didn't have that. Sometimes every time I give mine, I'm like, boy, here we go, because I'm giving them my secret. But as much people can get that secret, that's as much times they have to suffer that. Yeah, they're going to come through my protection, but if they have to go through 25 houses with protection, they're not going to last that long. Their body, their aura, their spiritual energy is not going to last that long. So I say, forget it. To hell with it. Somebody needs to go to work tomorrow. Somebody needs to take care of kids. Somebody needs to do something. I'm going to give it out. That's like literally my job. Let me do it. They beat on me every time I give somebody something. They beat me. They get pissed off for that. Because you have to remember, no witch wants anybody to have an antidote to their work. Why? Because the work has to go somewhere. It goes back. People that did not have an awareness of who to pray to. Prayer works, but who do you pray to? You can sit there and make up a name of a God and pray the most passionate prayers and nothing will happen. Who to pray to? Teaching you what prayer looks like, teaching you how frequently to pray, somebody giving you even comfort. These people went through that with no comfort. Nobody saying, these are abusive people. These people, even when you follow what they want, are abusive. So much less when you're not following. These are abusive people. Abusive people who mock you, shame you, try to stomp you out at all times. So when you get to a point where you're being gang stalked and you have people here encouraging you, pushing you, comforting you, telling you it is okay, you made a mistake, we don't care, keep going. Keep going. People that keep you strong when you're tired inside of yourself, when you're weak. There are people who didn't have that. A kind word during gang stalking goes so far to keep your mind and your spirit up, to keep you moving. Even seeing people suffer is motivation. Especially seeing people suffer is motivation. You're like, wait a minute, if they can do it, I have to do it. I can do it. It is possible. It raises the standard. It raises the bar. So as much as you see them suffer, you know that you can go through the same and you will be fine. So you keep going through. I saw people beat down on camera. People projecting into people's lives, touching their hair, moving their hair on camera. That's how much people go through. You talk about, my house is like a train station. Their house has been like a train station. People who came before me, the forerunners. This is why I made that video, the forerunners, the people who run before you, run up that hill before you. I tell people, strengthen your legs. I don't tell people it's going to be easy. Strengthen your legs. We got to keep going. Don't stop. Don't look behind you. It's like a bunch of people are lost and there's a bunch of lions out there and somebody has to go and distract them. Do you know what it's like being chased by that stuff? So that other people can escape, they don't have the means. This is what people like us are for. Our perseverance is our pride. We come here to persevere. Because let me tell you, I have never in my life looked up to anybody more than that girl. And you would think that you would look up to people because of money, because of achievements, because of accolades in life. I look up to her because of her bounce back, how she bounced back from that, how she handled it, how she bounced back. I called her a queen. I do call her a queen. It's not even about competition. It's not about any of that. In my head, I'm like, she ranks higher than me. Because God gives those battles to the people who are strong, who can handle it. She can handle that. She can handle having kids taken away. She can handle going to jail. Because that rips you apart and came right back. She's right back on the tarot, right back doing her readings, right back doing her messages, right back. Like nothing happened. And I know people cry when I did. I wept when she came back. I was like, oh my God, because every once in a while, my mind's like, where is this girl? Where is she? God will bring you right back. And when God brings you back, you are an inspiration to other people. Other people are like, listen, she's my hero. She is. This girl's probably younger than me. I'm pretty sure she is. She is my hero. To go through something like that is insane, and get back and do what it is that you have to do, because we depend on it. There are videos that I have when I first came on YouTube, and I was watching her video, and then my live started, and this girl is motivating me, and I feel like if you watch the video you can see that she was motivating me. No, see, they had to do it to her because she was going too far. It was like me. They had to start beating me the way they were beating me spiritually, because when you start motivating people that much, you're activating people, and you don't know who you're activating, because when spirit brings us here for this, we are like the favorite fighters. And I can see why we're favored. You can see why somebody like that is favored, because you can go to jail and come back the same day and give a message the same day you came out. Oh, you're favored. You're a favorite. Because imagine when you have tough things to do and you just need people that you know are not going to stop. In my country, we call those people moon fu, crazy people. Crazy people. Crazy people are people you beat, you beat, you beat, you beat. You're tired, they still keep going. You're tired of beating these people. You're drained. These people drained you. Trying to punish, to teach them a lesson, they just come back up again. They're back up. This is what spirit needs. Spirit needs people that don't stay down. They're back up. People don't even fall down. They're back again. This person's back again. That's what they need. People like that, people get nervous of you. They're like, I don't want to fight with this one. You cost people money when you fight like that. So people like her activate people like me. People like me activate other people. I know there are people that are crazier than me. I know there are people that are stronger than me. I know that. And I'm thinking in my head, wait till that one gets activated. They think I'm a problem. Wait till that one gets activated, because you can already see it's a problem. You meet certain people and you're like, Lord, this person is a problem. I wouldn't want to fight with this person. This person's crazy. Crazy. That's what they don't want. We keep activating other people. We keep sparking strength in other people. We keep motivating other people. We keep making other people strong in spirit. Strong in spirit is different than strong with money. It's different than strong with connections. It's different than strong with even physical strength. Strong in spirit means a person is going to keep enduring. Bankruptcy, they're going to keep going. Sickness, they're going to keep going. Everybody's after them, they keep going. No matter what, they keep going. People are like, what do we have to do here? How do we send a point across to this person to stop? You can't. This is why God puts so much in place to protect some of us, to make sure we get up and we go, because some of us don't care. Now, it doesn't mean that we're perfect. I know for myself, I'm not perfect. I have a temper. I've worked on it significantly. It is controllable. It's always been controllable. But there's some times where I'm just like, listen here, please, let's stop. But at the same time, I think God forgives it, because of it's that stubbornness, it's that steadfastness that God knows that I'm gonna stay in the fight. And God has to talk to me like, hello, please stop, relax. And I have to be like, okay, you know what, you're right. Let me not go so far. But I know for myself, I was motivating people a little bit too much, especially as they were beating down on me. I could care less, because I was coming on here and it's like I could feel energetically that there were people who needed to hear that. They needed that alignment. They needed to know other people were suffering, because when people come on here and they just tell you, oh, and they look a little bit too calm, you're like, yeah, right. You don't even know what gangstalking is. When people come on camera and they're suffering and they're tired and they're pissed off, You know when people are just holding themselves together by a thin, like it's like any little thing, and they're gonna bust. Because I'm coming off of being gang stalked to give this message. I'm coming off of all kinds of things to give that message. And I know that people know when you're truly suffering, when you're a real target, when you're really being gang stalked, and they're hearing you say things that they can resonate with, and you're telling them like, look, I know I was swearing. I was like, F those people, because it truly, what are they gonna do? That was my attitude. I'll tell people, what are you gonna do? Who's gonna beat me? And then they come in like a group. They come in a group, and I know it's coming, and I know while I'm saying it, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna really get under somebody's skin today with this. I know I am. But it's like, you have to show people that fearlessness. You have to show people they don't have to be afraid of that, because your endurance with getting beat down is gonna keep going up. You're gonna keep not you're gonna you're not gonna feel it anymore. It's not gonna work anymore. You don't need cures anymore. You don't need these cleanses anymore. You just get accustomed to that. How many times are gonna rework that same nonsense? You don't need it. And once you get through all of that, other people are looking at you, and they're like, yeah, who cares about these people? What are they gonna do? They're gonna follow me. That's all they're gonna do. They're gonna follow me at this stage in the game. I care. I care now. That's what we're here for. We're here to be an example. We're here to show other people, because you see, it's us first. We have spiritual gifts. And then we're going to get to people who God put us to suffer here to make it easier for other people to walk free. Because it's not just us who are binded. There's a bunch of other people who are binded in these situations. They do not have the means. So people need to see us suffer. They need to see us almost fall. They need to see us lose. They need to see us beat down. They need to see us get back up. They need to see us get back on our feet. It's not enough to suffer and be down and then tell people, hey, come over here. They're like, why? So I could be like you? No, people gotta see us get back up. They gotta see us make a way. And God is not giving you any cheat codes. You really have to go through every ounce of what everybody else went through. God's not gonna block anything. You really have to keep going through every single door and failing a million. I have failed a million times in everything that I've done. I have to go from one to the other, to the other, to the other. You want to talk about exhaustion? You want to talk about endurance and things not working? I've gone from one thing to the other thing to the other thing, and I keep going because I have no choice. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna lay here and just. What am I gonna do? I'm gonna sleep all day. What am I gonna do? It's like these people really want you to sleep all day. I don't even know how to do that. So you got to keep going, so that when you come out with your story, people need to hear about everything that you went through. Would have been the same thing that they would go through. No cheat codes, no easiness, because people are going to say, well, it was so easy for you because you're this and you're that and blah, blah, blah. I'm not any of those things. You got to come here and say, you're going to do it with God like I did. Did God come and stop them from coming in and out of my house? No. I got to deal with that. I got to find the cure. I got to find the fix. I keep finding things. I keep trying to do things. They call me witch. They call me demon. They call me bruja. They call me all kinds of things. But what do I look like? Just letting people in and out of my house like this. You got to find a solution. I said this to someone today. It's not spiritual because I want to be spiritual. I don't have a choice. And then as I give messages, my viewership might be 1, 2, 12 people viewed the video, but somehow everybody around me is doing the same thing. Everything that I use is selling out of the store because they're persecuting the same people that are helping them. If I recommend something, it sells out of the stores. I'm telling you, and it's not just people are like random people are buying it out. Other people are doing the same cleanses. They're doing it too. You see a whole bunch of people come in looking for things. People have to get spiritual because they have been persecuted for so long. The same people who are persecuting you are doing it because they're scared. You're here to help those people too. The only reason they're persecuting you like that is because they're persecuting those people to bully you, so that they can live, so that they can survive, because they took a contract from, not so nice places. So, or they sacrificed you. It's like they're blocked. And I said this months ago, they're blocked. People in this situation, they get blocked. Once you see you start fighting God, God says, I deliver you into the hands of your enemies. Not one. You know how many enemies you have? Not one. God will deliver you. It's gonna be a war on every side of your life. You gotta walk a tightrope. Police are watching, the people you owe money are watching, the gang is watching, God is here, all kinds of stuff. A war on your life. The bank wants the house. All kinds of stuff is going on. You can't sleep. You can't eat. You're shaking. You're getting used to living like this in this kind of condition. It's like the outdoors, that your inside of your house feels like the outdoors because this is not a home. Are people cleaning? Are they cooking? Are they relaxing? It's like outdoors. It's like a little zoo now. You guys live in a little zoo. Playing with God, playing with God's people. That's how the conditions, and this is not the worst. God's saying karma didn't start yet. This is not the beginning of karma. The cycle's not done yet. We're still in the preview. So when you think you're suffering, you are not suffering. God says you don't even know what suffering is. Beginning of Gangstalking, they said that to me. I was like, what? Don't ever say that to me. Boy, when I started hearing people's Gangstalking stories, people that are not fighting with God, people that don't pray, people that don't have an altar, people that don't know who to pray to, I said to myself, I don't know what suffering is. I don't. There are people whose mouth is moving without their, it's like they're suffering, like this energies that bind to them are, this is persecution of the worst kind. This is what the Bible calls gnashing of teeth. This is people that other witches want to possess them. And I pity the fool, because I know she'll try. So, let me finish reading this. As the Father have loved me, so have I loved you. Continue you in my love. If you keep my commandments, you shall abide in my love, even as I have kept my Father's commandments and abide in his love. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. These things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that ye love one another as I have loved you. Greater love hath no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. Hence I call you not servants, for the servant knoweth not what his Lord doeth. But I have called you friends, for all the things that I have heard of my Father I have made known unto you. You have not chosen me, but I have chosen you, and ordained you that you should go and bring forth fruit, and that your fruit should remain, that whatsoever you shall ask of the Father in my name, he may give it to you. Now, this is written by Jesus. I personally do not pray to Jesus myself, and I don't know how that goes. I don't want to offend anyone's religious beliefs, because a lot of people believe in Jesus, but I tell you this is all I can say about praying through Jesus, because I do believe Jesus is an intermediary. You can go to God directly. That's number one. Number two, witches laugh, and these prayers to Jesus, they say that it doesn't work. I can't tell you if it does or if it doesn't, but I can tell you, you can go to God the Father yourself directly. That's just all I can say about it, because I don't want to offend people, because I know my spiritual beliefs are very personal to me. I am offended. I'm not offended if people don't believe what I believe. That is their right. I'm offended when people are disrespectful. So I am not going to say anything to anyone that truly wants to believe something. These things I command you, that ye love one another. If the world hates you, ye know that it hated me before it hated you. This one, John 15, verse 18, I really wanted to read because when I was going through it and it was so personal, people were gang stalking me like it was so personal. I kept asking myself, why are these people like taking this personally? I thought this was a job. How comes these people are so hateful? What have I personally done? It's because they hate God. Simple. By you not falling, you put them in a predicament where their life is in jeopardy. That's it. End of story. If ye were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hateth you. Remember the word that I have said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. They don't know God. They don't know God. I'm not saying that they don't acknowledge God. I'm not saying that they don't know God exists. I'm saying they don't know God. Because if you know God, you would love God. There's no way not to love God. It's not. Like, that was one of the things that used to, like, boggle my brain. Like, why are they so mad at God? What happened here? They don't know God. These are not people that know God. These are not people that want to know God. These are not people that want to be good. These are not people that want to do better, whatever, like whatever it is. Oh, go to God and repent and what. These are people that are used to hardship. When you don't know God, you're used to hardship. You're used to falling and getting back up, like a little bouncy ball. I'm down today. I don't have anything. I'm homeless. They just think, well, let me get another target. I'm going to siphon off this person's energy and whatever they have, and I'm going to get back up on my feet. That's how they see it. Can you tell them that this is God's wrath? Can you tell them this is punishment, this is karma? No. They're used to it. They like it. They think it's fine. So I have to remind myself, stop trying to tell people who've been doing evil for 20 years, who've risen in the ranks of evil, to go look for God. Am I insane? What's wrong with me? I have to remind myself. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. Let me read that again. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. This is why people are fighting us so much. Because the things they used to do in secret, the things they used to hide, they can't hide it anymore. There's no cloak. They're in the open and they're exposed. The community knows, people know who they are, people know what they're about. People are, even if, this is one thing about casting a shadow of doubt. You don't have to ever convince people fully. You don't need to convince people even 10%. You just need to put doubt in someone's mind. You just need to say, why is this like this? Why is that like that? Why is that like that? That's all you need to do. And let other people do their investigation. Let other people think it through. Because people are going to say to themselves, why is that like that? People could call me a liar all they want, but they've experienced every symptom that I've experienced. And now I'm telling them what it is. It's spell work. So either they want to believe it, or they could go get some crystals and some spiritual help, and they can, when it gets bad enough, they're going to come to God. We don't have to force people to get on their knees and get an altar. You don't have to do that. A witch will force someone to do that. It's the witches that push people to spirituality. It's not us. The witch makes you get on your knees and pray. They make it unbearable. They want to teach you a lesson so bad, and you need healing. You need saving. So what did that person who got through it do? What did that person who got through it say? Oh, okay, well, you know what? Tonight it's bad enough. I'm going to reach out. I'm going to call to God. And I'm going to see what happens. And God can't wait. God's waiting at the door. Like, wait, hold on. It's like going to someone's house and knocking at the door, and they just, before your hand connects, or at the first knock, the door's open like, hey, how are you? Come inside. You're like, wait, you were waiting for, yeah, I was waiting for you. Yeah, I was waiting for you. God's waiting for people to come because you need it. Have you not suffered enough? They have no cloak for their sins anymore. And it's just beginning, this uncloaking, this demasking. He that hateth me hateth my Father also. If I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin. But now have they both seen and hateth both me and my Father. But this cometh to pass, that the word might be fulfilled that is written in their law. They hateth me without cause. But when the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, that is the mother that they're talking about, that they refuse to name her by name. When the Comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceedeth from the Father, he shall testify of me, and ye shall say, and you also shall bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning. So this is a word to the disciples where Jesus is basically saying, these people are going to persecute you, they're going to hate you, they're going to beat down on you, and it's because of me, and it's because of God, and it's because of the ministry that we're doing, and it's because of the people that we're helping. And this is from the beginning of time. There is nothing new here. You are going to be persecuted on this journey. This is part of what it is. They're going to persecute your children, your children's children, and so on. And so we bring our spirits to God. We bring our children to God. From what I know now, you got to bring kids, as babies, as toddlers, as whatever. You got to bring them to God immediately. As soon as you have them, you got to be like, God, this is yours. Take them. This is yours immediately. Take their soul, take their life. As soon as I woke up spiritually, I gave my kids to God immediately, because I already understood with the nature of what was going on around me. I already understood that this is not safe. This is not something that I can do on my own. I need God's eyes, ears, protection, help, all of the above. So I'm going to talk about perseverance. And I'm an hour in, so I'm just going to read what I have. So perseverance. Do you see the way these people battle death? They are battling the energy of death. They are battling Santa Muerte and her children with their full chest. You have to, I don't know how to feel. When I say it, it's a mixed bag of emotions. I don't know what to feel or think. These people are battling death with their full chest. In the same way you remain committed, the same way these people have the audacity and the balls to fight spirit with their full chest, it is the same way you will remain committed. There is no blow too strong to bear. That is how we operate. There is nothing too horrible to have to deal with. There's no blow too strong. Stand firm in any wind. Never, ever relent. Anytime you're pushed back, that means anything that comes your way, okay? Whatever it is. Anything that you have to go through, you're going through with confidence. You're bracing yourself, and you're going through it with confidence. Strengthen yourself back, even when you're weak. There is no one guarantee there is one guarantee that you will never back down, and you will never run. You will absorb pain until you are immune to it. In your immunity, you will develop new skills. You also change. You become a different person after you've put up with a lot of crap for a long period of time. It's not just, the people doing this to you couldn't survive this themselves. They couldn't survive the kind of things that you've had to survive. So as you come through it, your personality changes, your ability to withstand pressure changes, the attitude that you go into situations with changes. These are the skills that you develop. Sometimes people put a lot of emphasis on spiritual gifts and abilities to do this and do that, and not saying that that's not something, but standing in a storm, being one of those energies that God knows is going to stand in a storm, that is a different level. That's a different skill altogether. Because you train somebody who has endurance, they're unstoppable. You can take someone who has no spiritual knowledge and teach them how to endure, how to stand through. And this is going to be a formidable enemy. This is going to be someone that people probably don't want to fight. Versus someone who has all these skills. And let me tell you something. Don't mind these people. These people, they're afraid of you. They are afraid of you. They know what you really are. You don't know what you are. Do you know what it means to be a child of death? Do you know what it means to be a literal child of death? It doesn't matter how much they can project. It doesn't matter how much they already did death spells on you, it didn't work. Then they did death spells on people after you and it worked. Do you know what it means to be a child of death? Literally. You don't need to worry about people that are afraid of you. They will pretend that they want to do stuff. It's not that they can't be down on you. They want to do stuff. They're scared of everything. They're scared of your prayers. They're scared of your petitions to God. Because they know when you go to God, God is active, God listens, and God answers in the affirmative. You know with us how God works? God's not happy with your behavior at all. God's not happy with the way you do it, but we present a united front. So if you end up in a fight, God will fight with you. And then God will pull you aside and be like, don't ever do that again. You don't fight like that. Don't do that. We don't do that. But God's not going to leave you there for people to pile up on you. Never. It's like, think about if you have a child. You're not going to embarrass your child anywhere. You're going to stand up and defend any nonsense. I've seen videos like this where somebody's on a podium talking nonsense and their mother's behind them like, yup, yup. But it's nonsense. It gives them confidence. And maybe they'll correct you later. They will correct you later. They'll correct you later and you're like, oh shoot. But they're going to support you. People know that God's going to support you. They know that. These people know what they've done to other people and they want to do it to you, and they got to think twice. They have to think twice. That's why I think for people of us, some of us who have come this far, you got to learn your spiritual gifts besides just at the altar. Like you got to learn how to use that energy that you have. It's strong. They didn't think you're that strong. They don't know the half. They don't know your full strength yet. That's not your full strength. They don't know your full strength, but you're strong in the spirit. There's different levels of strength in the spirit. These people are weak. They are weak. They need anger for them to use strength or focus. One of the two, but naturally, they're you can feel in their energy how they are. These are bullies. These people bully people. These people are not used to a fight. A fight is different. A fight goes rounds. A fight will not stop. This is where the situation is, and God is here. So whatever you couldn't get accomplished in your fight, I mean, God, it's not even a fair fight. It's not fair. So when you walk around, do not feel like you have to put up with anything, because you don't. That was in the beginning when you didn't know. Now that you know, you don't have to put up with nothing. Now, we don't go looking for fights. But if they come and pile up on you, say a little prayer and, you know, ask God, like, hey, you want me to? Because I will. That's how I, listen, that's how I am. God, I don't want to do anything. See, you see me here. You see, I'm not doing anything. I don't want to do anything. But that's how you gotta be. Because if not, people are going to take it too far. So you gotta learn you learn your strength in the spirit. Maybe give people a little idea of what's going on, and then you just kind of leave the rest to God. You just disengage because you don't want to be fighting every day. You don't want to be engaging in any of that. But it helps you to stand in your situation, because they're still gonna do things. They still do things to me, but I don't think anybody wants to take it too far. And they probably shouldn't, because I've had it. You know, I don't know about you guys, but man, it's crazy. We do not come here to deal with easy fights or easy enemies. We come here for the problems that they can't deal with. Nobody else can deal with these problems. God has to come personally, and God comes to earth through people, because God cannot come here as just a spirit. Like, just as a spirit, there's spirits roaming all around anyway. God has to come with a vessel, with a body, to utilize a person. But these are not things, the battles that you give to people that you cannot trust. You got to give these to people who can handle this. So this is coming to eradicate a stronghold. A stronghold is like going to a nice area and trying to sell drugs on the street corner to these people's children. How long it's gonna last? Not even one day. Because in these places, the community comes together. They know each other. The community, everybody has affluence here, so they do business together. They have dinner together. They're holding hands in a way where they make money together now. It's a vested interest. Your child comes on vacation to my vacation house. That's like my kid. I saw you growing up. So they can't do that. Where do they have a stronghold? They go to these bad areas, these poor areas, these areas where people fight each other, these areas where people might smile in each other's face, but they compete with each other, and you know, they could do just about anything to each other. That's where they get it. That's what you call a stronghold. Now you can go to that area and do just about anything. You can kill somebody in that area. They'll leave the dead body in the street for hours because it's a stronghold. That's what it means to have a stronghold. A demonic stronghold is like that. So where these strongholds are, people cannot, nothing else can take it out. Look at gangstalking. The police can't do it. The judges can't do it. You could have evidence in the case. You can't get rid of them. They have protection. They have money. Judge is scared of going missing. These people are so radical. They will shoot up the law firm that is defending the victim. What? That's why Mother is here herself. So now she's saying, fight me, because you're bad, right? Fight me. Now she's in their house. Anyhow, fight me. When spirits come in your house anyhow, trust is disrespectful. I want to laugh. It's disrespectful when people just come into your house. Oh, you want to just come into people's heads anyhow? Let me come into your head. Oh, you want to just come into people's vessels anyhow? Let me come into yours. This is the kind of nonsense that these people do. These people try to step inside of your vessel, to walk inside of your vessel. That's why you have to accept God. People are not promoting demonic possession. People are saying they need to meet something when they try that. Why do you invite spirit into your home? Because they need to meet, something needs to be watching you here. Because though they might come, though they might not sense spirit, so they just start coming all the time anyhow, they cannot go too far. They cannot do the things in your house that they've done in other people's houses. They cannot sense demonic energies into here. They can't do those things. This is why we advocate for the things that we advocate, not because we're trying to bring people to the dark side. Am I getting money for this? Am I being paid to bring? I don't even know who people are. No, we're doing this for protection. This is protection. You can sleep better at night if you know that your loved one carries God in their heart, because now you know that God is going to fight from the inside, because they have tricks that you don't know about. You're just waking up. It will shock you. As you see the things that these people do, it will shock you. You come here for those no one else could have dealt with but our mother and father. Directly, they had to come themselves to handle this kind of mess. This is a mess. It's a stronghold. Adjust to any changing condition and harden yourself to tolerate any condition. If today you have a table, eat there. And if tomorrow you have no table, eat on the floor. And if you have no plates, the Bible says that God wants soldiers who would get on their knees and lap the water like a dog. Why? It's not to be vulgar. It is a metaphor for saying, no matter what happens, no matter how the conditions change, you started this fight and you were prosperous, you had money, you were making money, great. Now you're not making money anymore. Now you're still fighting. You end up in another condition, you're still fighting. You end up in another way, you're still fighting. We still keep going. We still keep any kind of condition, whatever it comes down to, whatever we got to do, we still keep going. We endure it. We keep going. Because let me tell you, they're on their ass and they're still going. They're homeless and they're still fighting. They're fighting death with their chest. So who are you who is protected not to do the same? Those of us who persist so the work can be complete. Remember I said, your battle was already won. You just have to be persistent until the work is finished, completely done. Your endurance is your value. It is the foundation of your fight. You are already unkillable. Now you have to be unbeatable. They cannot get, how many? If they bind it, listen, these people bind me every day, a couple times a day, every day. It's like, I don't know, it's like maybe they're trying to make sure that a binding works or something. They do it every day, multiple times a day. If they hear something, they try to bind again, because that is their way of attacking. That is how they make sure that their attack gets through. And I want you to know that the binding, if God allows it to go through, is because you have to learn. There's a lesson to be learned here. There is a lesson to be learned in the binding. The binding is not to be feared, so you prepare yourself for how it's going to go. Be immovable. Do not move off of your square. And suffer to the end, if it's going to be suffering. Be immovable. Let us remove complaining. And I'm gonna tell you, I used to gripe a lot in the beginning. In the middle, not in the beginning. In the beginning I didn't. I just went through whatever. But in the middle, I was like, this is ridiculous. Let us remove complaining and forget fantasizing about peaceful days. Find happiness in persecution. Happiness is not your situation being restored, because there are people that have that situation and better and they're not happy. Happiness is not having money. Happiness is not having peace. Happiness is having gratitude. Happiness is being good with what you have. Happiness is knowing that, for me, happiness is knowing that God is on my side. The universe is on my side, that I'm doing the right thing. My conscience is clear. That, for me, is peace. I sleep good at night. And there are some people who have a lot. They have a lot more than you can ever imagine, and they don't have that. For me, the complaining has gone away, and I've accepted it because I know that this is my life. This is just how this goes. This is just what's going to happen. So I pick up witches everywhere I go. Like, you walk the road, you meet one, they start attacking you. Now they're in your house, outside your house. They say, and when it doesn't work, they're asking you, how comes it doesn't work? What did you use? All kinds of stuff. Like, you're picking up strays everywhere. Every other day, there's a new witch that rises up against you. So it just comes to the point where you're like, this is what I'm here for. I'm here to meet witches. Through me, God meets the witches. That's my role. So there's no point in me complaining. I would never be done complaining. This is your role. They called me a witch hunter, but I didn't go nowhere. I stay in my house. So I'm not hunting. Witches are hunting me. They're just unsuccessful. And this is how it's going to go for you. This is how it is going. They're hunting you. It's just unsuccessful. Because as soon as it's like you break into a house, and as soon as you get in there, you see something, and it's like, oh no, and they try to run, and the spirit grabs them back, like, no, you're staying in here. Come. You got the right one. That's what we're here for. We're here to meet people. You don't have to do anything. You just got to be there. You just have to be there, and you just learn. You learn along the way. Well, what can I do? How can I fix? And don't be fooled because things are calm. They're plotting. They're plotting. They got a plan. Don't be fooled because you think things are calm right now. They have a plan, or they're building one of the two. So find happiness in the persecution. Find a little bit of, listen, when I was doing my lives and it looked like I was very petty, I was really laughing. Like, I that wasn't a fake laugh. It wasn't me trying to feel better. Like, I really thought that stuff was funny. I still do. You gotta find something. And like this one girl said, she says, I'd rather laugh at you than, do anything to you. And for me, it's like I had to let it out at some point. So you have to find that for yourself. Find some sort of, whether we call it happiness, whether we call it a little bit of relief, like let the pressure out is what I'm saying. And don't wait for it to be done, because God needs time. Who knows how many of them there are? You don't want to meet all at once. So sometimes you got to meet one or two at a time and just see how it goes. You are a child of death. And I used to wonder when I came on here, like, who am I talking to? It seems I'm talking to everyone, but for those of us going through this, and a lot of us don't yet know who our God is. We just know God is with us. We don't yet know who she is. You're a child of death. And death brings sorrow. Death brings sorrow. People are not feeling good to be in their condition. So be immune to the suffering that you see around you, because you're going to see a lot of that. You're going to go through this a lot. It's going to one day come to the point that it's just another day. I was saying that the other day to someone. They're like, I said, you just get used to it. It's just another day. You are an instrument of war, of change, and of transformation. Because through you, people are being released. People have to really hyperfixate on you as a problem, because you're blocking other work that they could be doing, and that means that other people who were being abused and persecuted are getting a break. Unfortunately. Don't let this thing change you. You have to continue healing. That's one thing that I said to myself from day one. I promised myself I will not let this make me hate humanity. So don't let this thing change you. Our work is our pride. So find pride in staying on your feet. Have no shame if something happens to you. God needed to blind you for that purpose as well, because God needed that outcome. Do not worry about when things happen, because I know for a fact these people have been crying. Prior to the little fiasco that they got away with a couple weeks ago, because they've been kind of scrying and kind of talking to me and stuff like that and all that stuff from a while, for months. But prior to the little fiasco that happened where they saw an opening, they were crying every day. Suicidal thoughts every day were taking over. Suicidal thoughts round the clock. Trust me. And you hear it and you feel it. Crying. Those are the people who have persecuted you. So what shame should you have if something happened or something seemingly went through? The only reason it went through is because God needed it. God's not going to waste the opportunity to teach you a lesson, so you know now, because if this person tries to play God in your head, how many more will? So you got to understand how this thing goes. Bounce back. Your strength is a pride to God. Your strength is a pride to God. You were fashioned in their image. You are calm in your storms, and be confident in war. It doesn't matter. Though people will pretend like they're not worried. They'll pretend like, oh, they're going to put a beating on you. Because see, they put a beating on people that didn't know anything, didn't know better, didn't have God, didn't have faith, didn't have strength, spiritual strength, and didn't have endurance. It's a totally different thing when you're fighting something you can't kill. You can't kill this thing. The most you can do is beat down on it. So what are you going to do? And it's strong. You're going to keep fighting it? And it's going to keep fighting? Like, what are you going to do? They're going to pretend that they're not nervous. Trust me, if they're in your energy, you can feel their nerves. And they're delusional. They'll say whatever it is that they need to say. Of course, people have to be delusional in this kind of craziness. Nobody's seen anything like this before. Who has seen the day when the God that they've said didn't exist is here in real life, and it's undeniable now? Strongholds have been broken. Connections have been broken. Protection is broken off of them, and every day it gets worse. Who can deny that God is real? Cannot deny that God is not here. God is here. They're seeing it every day in their condition. So don't be yourself nervous in this. Even if you're going to get your behind handed to you, you're going to learn. You might fail the first half, and you're going to survive the second half. That's it. You're going to learn, and you're going to keep going, and you're going to keep moving. But have confidence and have faith, because you're not here alone. You are never alone, and it's not just one spirit. You have people praying for you, whether or not you know it. You have angels supporting you. You have backing in every round. And that's the truth. We have backing in every round. We stand firm so God can do the rest. God can use our vessels for his and her greatest good, and that is to bring more people to God, to bring peace and relief to people, to bring hope to people. We accept imperfect conditions with gratitude. They are imperfect, but we're grateful. Because though you have to eat on the floor, you might not have a plate, you might need to put it on a paper towel or a piece of cardboard, you have a roof over your head, you have protection, you have clothes. There are those who are homeless who have none of the above. Sometimes we eat manna, which is bread that God drops from the sky. Sometimes we eat manna before we eat baguettes, before we eat expensive bread or artisan bread. God has never lost. So I shouldn't skip over that. Like, God has never lost. God doesn't do anything to lose. God doesn't plan things halfway through. God plans to the end. God knows how these people are. God studies people. They study people before they make moves. They know what way people are going. They know what people are likely to do. As a matter of fact, God says, don't even go too hard on these people, because these people are going to try to take their lives. These people are you're going to create a mess. For just easy on them. God talks easy on them. You have to let all of this stuff happen, boost their confidence again, let them come back strong, and they will come back. Their confidence is back up, and they will come back. They're planning stuff. Shocking to me, but we gotta let it play out that way. They're planning, they're plotting, they're learning, they're watching videos, They're getting ideas from you from everywhere else. They're monitoring you. They're monitoring your work. They're hyper obsessive, etc., etc., etc. They're looking for a way back in. See, now that you've evicted them from your head in the sense where you don't care what they're talking about, they're begging for a way back in. They're pleading like, damn, how did this happen? How could I let this go? They want a way back in so that they can control that way because it's easier. Because now they're gonna have to fight their way out of this. There's no other way but to fight it. They're gonna have to fight. They're gonna have to contend to fighting, physically fighting. Like, I mean, spiritually, it's like spiritually, physically fighting. That's what they're gonna have to boost up their confidence to do. I'm giving it to you straight. I always say, there's a saying that the Chinese say that the beginning of wisdom is calling things by the correct name. So we're gonna use new words that are going to adjust the way that you think about your life. Instead of saying you're suffering, we're gonna say that you're working. You're on your job. You're working. Instead of saying that you're having challenges, we're gonna say that these are lessons, because you're gonna deal with things better than you did last year, better than you did 6 months ago. You're gonna deal with things that come to bring chaos and conflict without complaining, without crying, without grumbling, but saying, get out of here. This is how we're doing it. And being authoritative in your life to take hold and command of situations. So these are lessons. Instead of saying that you're being attacked, you're building immunity and recognizing new strengths in yourself. You're learning how it goes by feeling it, by experiencing it. You're learning. Instead of saying that you're suffering for a long time, we're going to say you're on the path to winning. You're on the path to winning. You need the path to learn. Instead of saying that you're enduring, we're going to say that you're immovable. You can't move. There's nothing to be endured. People are trying to push you off of something, and you cannot be moved off of it. God is our fortress and our strength. And I can tell you, I do have past life memories, because I know they burned me at the stake. I know I died for this before. But this is something that, though maybe God didn't enjoy it, I can definitely say that that's the kind of person you want on a mission, is someone you know that is going to take it that far, like, to me. And I know, when I first woke up and I first came into myself spiritually, the first thing I said was, I was like, I would die for you, because I would. That's how far I'm willing to take it. That's why I talk like that. When people like to say, oh, you're bad, or you think you're bad, no, I would die over this. You know how people who are willing to die over things fight you? So anyway, you give God a pledge every day. This is how you get through an issue that takes long to get through. You pledge every day to give God another day. You give God another day, and you give God another day every day. Every day. The exhausting days, the tired days, when you're done giving thanks, when you're done looking at the positives that happen, when you're exhausted but pissed off, you're annoyed, you say at the end of the prayers, how you end it, you say, I give you another day leading up to another lifetime, because every single day of your life, you're going to give God another day. And that's going to culminate into a lifetime. And if you do this every lifetime, it's going to lead into an eternity in service to the crown. This is how I end every prayer. This is my pledge. Every day I am in service to the crown. I don't know how many lifetimes I've been saying that, but it came through very vividly. And I've been doing it for a long time. So every day I give God another day. And I get tired. I mean, I don't have days like that anymore, because I just accept this is my life. But like, when you get tired, when you are drained, you give God another day, every single day. You just got to get through the 24 hours. and do it every single day, and your days do get more calm. They get more peaceful. Are they getting more peaceful because people are lashing out at you, or they're not lashing out? Boy, they're lashing out even worse. They're taking risks. They're going even further than they ever have. It's not because nothing's happening to you. It is because you know how to better handle it. I can feel them in my energy once I piss them off. I know that they're determined to piss me off back, to do something to annoy me, to ruin my day, to get me to snap and get upset. So trust me, they're going to still push you, but in the suffering, you know how to take it, you know how to deal with it, and you get better at doing certain things. God is our strength and our fortress. Now, so this is the end of my message. I'm going to give one tip, because you know my job is to talk too much. People do not like that about me, and I know I piss people off. Earlier today, I was watching reruns of Cat Williams' interview, and I sat there and I'm like, that's why nobody liked Virgos. You know what? I sat there and I said to myself, I have no hope of being like, I have been popular. I am popular. A lot of people know me. A lot of people like me. But I've learned how to, like, you know, hold myself. Because when you're young and you're raw, I'm like, yeah, I could see why people like were annoyed by me when I was younger. Virgos do not care. We do not care about the consequences of telling the truth at all. To us, we feel like it feels like such a huge relief to get the truth off your back. You could care less how anybody took it. It is what it is. It's like we are just honest people. Not all of us, but Cat Williams is a Virgo. Cat Williams was saying things in that interview. I'm like, boy, have mercy. No wonder they don't like him in Hollywood. They can't kill him. He is the example of what it is. This is a good thing for me to talk about before I go. He is the example of what it means to be of service to God. When God says, I am going to put you somewhere, God makes you suffer first so you can have that guerrilla warfare attitude. What are guerrilla warfare? What is guerrilla warfare? You watch some of those movies with the little, when Africans in African countries and these kind of countries, they go to war. They don't have enough guns. They don't have food to feed the army. They don't have a proper uniform. They don't have proper shoes. But they're going to war and they're going to take a country. They're going to go into the forest. This is not forest like we know forest. This is bush. This is real forest. This is like you will get lost and not be able to find civilization again forest. They will go out there and they will be out there for like however long. No food. You gotta hunt with your hands. You gotta open that animal with a stone. You gotta eat the guts too. Guerrilla warfare means anyhow. Some nights no food, some nights food. Some nights no fire, some nights we eat it raw. We can't talk about the things that happen to us in there. We come out of there different people. We're almost savages when we come out. That's what guerrilla warfare is. So when God is about to bless your life, they put you through guerrilla warfare first. So it changes you. It changes how you are. Because you survived in that situation, you don't care. You could go back. That's the attitude that I always have. I've actually always had this attitude. It's not because I could go back. It's because I don't care. I don't let anybody hold anything over my head. I don't care. I don't even want it because you're not going to hold it over my head. Or the minute you do, I'm going to give it back. But this is the way that we operate. Cat Williams was homeless before he went to Hollywood. He had to learn how to put a show together every ounce, write the whole show, get his own people. He had to do everything himself. I call it taking the stairs, the hard way, the long way, the not having money way, the poor way. You're saying to God, why am I suffering? Why is it taking so long? Everybody got help. Everybody got, a sponsor. Everybody got this. Everybody got that. No, God says we're taking the stairs and you're going to carry all of it on your back. by yourself, no help, lonely on this journey, so that you always know you could go back. So the day they ever try it with you, you don't care. I don't need no deals. I don't need no sponsorship. I don't need your money. I don't need anything now. People in the other people in the room who are scared to lose their shirt, they're scared to be homeless, they're scared to not have, they're going to think to themselves, how comes this one talks like that? Because I don't care. I don't care. I will go back. I'll go back to tuna and crackers. I don't care. You're not going to talk to me any type of way. That's how God wants you. No one can hold it over your head. Yeah, I had a big house, but I can live anywhere. I could sleep on the floor. That's nothing to me. So I don't care about your money. We're gonna do it guerrilla warfare. Can you sleep on the floor? Can you be broke? You can't do what I can do. That's how God wants it. So before you get to where you go, you have to learn how to build it from scratch. You have to learn how to suffer with it. You got to learn how to make it work. You got to go through every corner. You got to squeeze it through. You got to get it through just in time. You got to get it through in pieces just to be able to learn how to be in the jungle with no equipment, no uniform, no tools, no hope, and get through and get it done. Now that you're ready, now that you're capable of moving on your own, now that you know how to spot gang stalkers, destiny thieves, witches, spell work, you know their tricks, you can smell them. Now you're ready for your new beginning. Because whatever you get in a new beginning is going to be knocked out of your hands as soon as you see a new trick. You've never seen that one before. You got to learn all the lessons. You got to close this cycle by learning all of the lessons, getting through. It's on God's timer, so you can't rush it, but you got to go through everything. So God gets you to this point. So God gets Cat Williams in Hollywood. And Cat Williams says, everything I have, I do it all myself. I don't have any help. I build my team, I this, I that, I the third. But as he talks about how he does things, you realize why he's successful, and he can talk any way he wants. People will listen to him and say he's arrogant. This is not arrogance. People don't know what arrogance. You know arrogance when you hear arrogance. This is Godfidence. This is somebody who says what they say, they mean it. The way they say it, you know that there's very firm, strong energy behind it. Like they're not going to move. So when he says, he talks about everyone and he says the truth. He names them by name on camera. This man did, what was it, 2-hour interview? That thing got 50 million views on YouTube. He talks about his everything. He calls everybody by name and he says, I'm not popular. I'm not in any of the groups. They don't accept me. But I still make a lot of money. I can't remember what he said his Netflix deal was, how much millions, 200 million or something like, I don't even know. 50 million, 30, I don't remember. I didn't focus on the numbers, but I believe him. People will say things like, well, we don't believe you because it sounds too fantastical. When he came on there, he said to that guy, he said, I'm going to co-sign you. The fact that I come on here after me, you're going to get all these big names because I'm going to establish this as a place of truth. And it's true. He had their highest rated show ever. But it's because, you know why it's so entertaining? Because people are watching and they're like, this man is crazy. I read the other day, they're like, whatever portal he opened, they're like, close it. Because since that man came on in January, everything is crazy. That's how Virgos are. That's how we are. I know they say I'm a Leo. I see that as well. But I also see the Virgo in me as well. I call Virgos crackheads a little bit because Virgos do not care. We just tell you as it is. And whatever happens, happens. And, you know, if people were to speak like that, if other people spoke that way about these celebrities that he did, they wouldn't have a business anymore. They wouldn't have a career anymore. Because these people would use their connections to destabilize his life. They would use their connections in the cabal. Because the same thing you see here in Gangstalking is the same thing that exists in Hollywood, in the health industry, in the food, in any industry. Demonic forces go and they make a stronghold. Satanists, people who worship demons, are everywhere. They're connected like a little, so everywhere you go, they have somebody. Maybe this network might not know that network by name, but these networks, they exist everywhere. So once you take food out of their hands, once you eat out of their hand, they always have the ability to pull you down. That's the reason they want to give you help. That's the reason they're forcing the help in your hand, so that the minute you know, they want me to park in their parking spot. So the minute that they want to, oh, you're just about to have some success. Hi, I need my parking spot today. Come and get out of my spot today. They need the control. And they want to implant as many of those little things in your life as possible. So the day, oh, you don't want to listen? We're going to pull this. You don't want to listen? We pull that. Until they start pulling everything, you panic and you come back and you get back in line. God is saying, get rid of this. That's why when you come into the kingdom, you got to get rid of everything that they had. Get rid of that garbage. We don't want that here. You pull all of that crap out. And once you're done, you're fresh. You're naked. You got to go and sew your clothes. Go buy the cloth. Sew it. You're not buying it from anywhere. You're not dependent on anyone. You got to make everything yourself. Do everything yourself. And once you do everything yourself, no one can control you. They cannot bribe you. They cannot ask you for anything. They cannot demand anything of you. They cannot say you owe me because of my advice, blah, blah, blah. They'll even try to do things where they try to force a little piece of advice and tell you, oh, do it this way, do it that way. Go to this place. My suggestion is this. If you have so much suggestions, where is yours? Where is yours? If they made you, how comes they cannot make another you? That's what Jay-Z said. People said they made Hove. Hove said, okay, so make another Hove. Why are you obsessed with me? Go make more of me. Build a factory and go make a bunch. They can't. They need you. They need your energy. They need you. Because you built it, they just kept pushing their hands in it. So what you need to do is make sure nobody puts hands in anything that you have. Do all of it yourself. See, Kalima has 8 hands, 1 to cook, 1 to clean, 1 to do this. You don't ask for any help. Don't take any favors. Force the favor out of your face. You get in a situation, you realize it's them, get rid of it. No help. Make sure everything that you're doing, if you even see their hands in it again, get rid of it. Get rid of it. And stand your ground with these people. But the point that I was trying to make is that initially, I gotta put everybody up to speed on what is going on here and how this works. So be aware of what is coming is what we're talking about here. So the same person that can almost talk into your mind, play God in your mind, and do all of this nonsense, that was playing God, that was feeling very lovely as you were talking to them. This same energy, these people have the ability, and I've talked about this before, to try to jump into people's vessels. This guy tried to do that to me before. He didn't want me meditating at all, just like was trying to fight that meditation every day. And you feel when they try to like jump inside of you. And I'm like, you have got to get off of me. What is this nonsense? But they do that to people. It's like they want to exist in your vessel, see through your eyes, hear through your ears. So people, yes, they have the ability to do that. So I'm saying it early, so we don't go through we don't have another calamity. They have the ability to do things like this. They are going to do things like this. They are. Now, they will try to jump into your vessel. Whether you feel it or not, it doesn't matter. And almost like move your body parts, almost like the way God does. This is why people like to play God. Because God has the ability to just guide our hands. See, while I'm talking here, they want to guide the conversation. They want to listen to what you're saying and then predict the next word you should say. This kind of nonsense they do. So then You become reliant on that, thinking that that's your voice. And now you're just taking the words that they're suggesting until now they're making you say garbage, leading people astray. You gotta stay on top of these losers. So, I have watched, and I've seen this multiple times on this journey, but I have watched people where it's like their mouth, like they're trying to move the person's mouth, like the person's talking and they're like moving the person's jaw. Be prepared that these are the kind of things that they're going to try to do. Be prepared that these are the kind of things that they're going to do. And, you know, the same person, sometimes I used to get so frustrated when people wouldn't listen to me. The same lady, I used to say to her, please pray, do this, do that. And I remember she made a video and she said, this is not some weird religion, this is criminals. And I'm thinking, so who moved your jaw, the criminals? What do you mean this is not some weird religion? But anyway, you know, a day or two later, she talked about her first crystal, and I was just happy. I was like, okay, well, God's going to do what God's going to do in people's lives. Anyway, sometimes I get so frustrated, like, oh my God, listen to me, but I get it. They do these kind of things to people. I've seen them literally driving the bus inside of people. Like, I've seen people following me or driving behind me, and those people, it's like somebody else is behind their eyes. People have been following me, and people have been talking to me, and I know I'm not talking to the person. I know who I'm talking to, and it's not the person that is in my store right now. Trust me, you will see things on this journey. So, I don't tell you this to see, I did the whole message of perseverance and stand in your storm and be strengthened and all of that. I don't tell you that to be concerned. I don't tell you that to be worried. I tell you that to fortify yourself. When you get messages from Spirit, and Spirit says you have your permission, you could put some hands on them today, or tomorrow, or the day after, whatever you needed to do, however, exercise. Like, when Spirit says that, don't say to yourself, I don't like fighting. Go exercise your strength, because you will need it, and they're gonna need a healthy dose of knowing what you're about. People are gonna need to know what you're about. You need to know what you're about more than anything else, so you can have a little bit of confidence in yourself. And even that is not going to be your full strength, because that is not with God's hand. That is not with Spirit's intervention. But when you know in advance of, one of the really important things that you need to do here is monitor yourself just as much as you monitor outside. Why did I do that? How did I do that? Why did I think that? What is that about? It's not about stagnating in feeling shame that somebody got over on you. If it's the first time, of course they're going to get over on you. It's about not repeating the mistake. It is about recognizing it. You need to monitor your own self a lot. Monitor your behavior. Monitor your family's behavior if you live with people. Monitor the behavior of people around you. Read people. Take time. Sometimes your gut told you something, you might want to test it anyway. Because even if you know it's a trap, you want to walk into the trap to see the purpose of the trap, how they set up the trap, what they put inside there, and how they go about it, and see how people behave inside of the trap. So the next time you find yourself walking in somewhere, you're like, this is oddly familiar. I've smelled these smells before. I've seen these sights before. You might have a gut instinct, and you might decide, let me go see this thing anyway. So, you walk with God, but you also don't let yourself stay on your toes, keep your eyes open. That kind of attack, that's the next thing that's coming. You gotta experience it too, because that's what people who get gangstalked go through. These people hop into their vessel and they play. So fortify yourself, learn. You want to do some research, you want to Google something, you want to look up a video, you want to do whatever you need to do, learn. Because they're planning that. That's part of the plan. That is their secret weapon. The one who doesn't have the scent, who thinks that no one can see her. The one who is arrogant. She has some arrogance to her. She's from my country. I don't know what kind of creatures they make in my country, because they, boy, I'm sure they're probably saying stuff like that. Like, how come some people from your country are like that? I have no idea. You would have never thought, right? But I don't know if it's gonna be that one, because there's a male version of that one as well. So this is coming. This phase has to be experienced as well, not endured. Experience. You're gonna experience it. You're gonna learn it. Fortify yourself and get ready. And I wouldn't worry about it, because anytime it gets crazy, just tap God in. That's what I do. Just tap God in. Actually, I don't do that enough. I should tap God in. You want to pray about it now. You want to pre-pray. You want to pre-plan, whatever it is. But you have to experience it. It just is what it is. Anything that you've experienced on this journey, you must experience it as victims experience it. You must understand what people go through. So that is it. When I get there, it depends, because I don't know how many of my cures I can really give out anymore. I don't know, how comfortable I always am with that. But if it's bad enough, I'll give a cure. If it's bad enough. So we will see how it goes. And just lay in wait now. Of course, people are not going to be happy that I talk about stuff like this. This is stuff they really don't want people to know. Knowing is half the battle. Get ready. So that is my message for tonight. Be confident in yourself that God would never put you in this situation had you not done this before. Sometimes this is muscle memory. How you're going to deal with it is going to be muscle memory, and it's going to kick in. But one thing I would do if I were you, when you get the energy, listen to me closely. When you get the energy, absorb it, suck it down, and take it for yourself. I don't know if God's happy with me saying that or not, but do it. Take it. Take the energy for yourself. Anyway, have a good night.